I suppose we're back with part 5 to 10 secrets in Red Dead Redemption 2. Look, I'm going to be away for about a week, and this is just easy to make content, something to go up while I'm away, and people enjoy it, and I enjoy making them, so it's a win-win situation in my opinion. But hey, regularly my preference is to space these videos out ever so slightly more, but it is what it is. You know the drill, I just like exploring secrets in games, and no game encapsulates that better than Red Dead Redemption 2. In fact, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the reason why I do it in the first place. So it's probably got my soul locked in a box somewhere, but anyway, please enjoy 10 Red Dead Redemption 2 secrets many players missed, part 5. Before we do get started though, I advise a spoiler warning for the story, and I would also like to say that the sloppy titling is not intended to insult anybody's intelligence. Anyway, with all of that said, please enjoy the video, maybe grab yourself a coffee or a biscuit or something, and we'll get cracking. Secret number 1 is a pair of unique collectibles that require you to look in a couple of very specific places. First we have a little fishing hut south of Thieves' Landing along the river. It's inside this shack's chimney where we will find the male fertility statue. A simple, unique collectible that grants the power of male fertility, or at least according to the inventory it does, as the game doesn't exactly let you test it. The female fertility statue can be found at a location south of Annisburg and just ever so slightly northwest of Van Horn, known as Roadside Brothel. It's here where on the porch you will see a deceased woman in a chair. Underneath this chair you will find a lockbox inside which is the female fertility statue, and as you can imagine, it possesses the power to grant female fertility. And there you go, you've picked up a couple of unique items. They aren't worth an awful lot, but once you sell them you cannot reacquire them, so what you do is up to you. Secret number 2 comes at the end of the side mission chain, the noblest of men and a woman. To avoid over explaining this mission chain before getting to the point, I'll get straight to the point. At the end of the mission, you acquire Jim Boy Calloway's revolver. You may notice it has an inscription that reads Canis Canem Edit, which roughly translates to dog eat dog. Why is this significant? Well, in some regions in Europe especially, Rockstar Games' title Bully was known as Canis Canem Edit, at least during marketing. So this tiny little detail on Jim Boy Calloway's revolver could be a simple reference to Bully. Secret number 3 brings us to the Bayou region, where at this point on the map we can find an interesting interaction at a shack.
Hello there, mister. Hello.
Hello, sir.
You must be real lonely out here, friend. So, you hungry, huh? I got food. I got food inside. Come along. Now come here. Don't you hate old Sonny now? Don't hate him. Oh, you struggled. And you lost. But it was quite a tussle, I tell you. Quite a tussle, my pet. See? Friendship ain't so tough. And neither is you.
What? Huh? Oh my lord.
So next thing you know, you're waking up in a field with drained cores. This location is known as Sonny's shack, and the man who lives here is clearly Sonny, and it's obvious what's implied to have happened when you're incapacitated inside this cabin by Sonny. It's a bit disturbing that it's in the game, but it was fun to feel justified in setting somebody's house on fire. As an added element of what on earth, this will trigger an interaction you can have with Bill Williamson when back at camp.
I met an interesting feller in the swamp. Real interesting.
Did you?
Sure. He seemed to know all about you. I mean, all about you.
Get out of here.
Another detail about this location that you may have missed is inside his cabin you can find newspaper articles about the Vietnam War, which hasn't happened yet and won't happen for another 56 years. Strange. Secret number 4 brings us to Martha's Swain, a rural cabin located west of Annisburg. It's inside this cabin where we will be able to find the deceased remains of Martha, along with a letter from her lover Garfield, who explains his position in the war as a Confederate, and Martha's is more Union-leaning, and the fact that he cannot desert because General Harris will shoot him. Besides this, the letter shows Garfield's disillusionment with the fight. Clearly though, he didn't manage to desert, otherwise Martha's remains would certainly not be left on the floor. This story does get a little bit more tragic, as if we head to Bulger Glade, the site of the battle for Scarlet Meadows, which is located south of Rhodes and east of Braithwaite Manor, we can find the remains of Garfield, pinned to a tree by a bayoneted rifle, implying that he did indeed attempt to desert and was caught and executed. On his body is a letter from Martha encouraging him to run away and be with her. Sadly, the happy ending never happened. Secret number 5 is pretty well known, and that is of course the mysterious hill home which can be found here on the map, just northeast of Fort Wallace. When exploring this area, you may have come across a home that is dug into the hill. From one angle, it looks simply like a mound, and from another, it looks like a house. The turtle iconography would suggest some connection with the in-game Chelonia cult. It's possible this mysterious hill home could be a nod to Lord of the Rings hobbit holes as well, as hobbits from the Lord of the Rings live in underground homes in hillsides. Like I said, this landmark is pretty well known amongst those who would know, but I don't doubt there were many players out there who weren't aware of its presence. Whether or not those people find this video is another question, but you've got to try. Secret number 6 brings us to this spot, just north of the San Luis River in New Austin, where we will find an interesting hermit living in a tree.
Get out of here! Just leave me be! Just get away from me!
He clearly isn't the most social of people. If we use a FreeCam mod, we can inspect this man, bent over on all fours in his little unfurnished treehouse with next to no clothing. He also has a cleft lip. In the game files, this character is referred to as Cougar Man, which would suggest that this is a reference to a Red Dead Redemption 1 glitch, in which a human man attacks the player as if he were a cougar. A bit like how the donkey lady was a human woman who could be ridden like a donkey for some reason. I suppose Rockstar likes to poke fun at hilarious bugs from previous games. Secret number 7 brings us to this spot in West Elizabeth, just north of Big Valley, along the Little Creek River, where we can find a downed airship. Clearly it crashed here and the pilot is dead. So clearly attempting to obtain flight didn't work out for the fella. However, if you head to this spot in New Austin, you can find another crashed proto-aircraft. What's striking about this one though is if you look at what I presume is a stabilizer wing at the rear, you will notice a name: Charles Kinnear, a character we meet in a stranger mission in Red Dead Redemption 1 who's doing this very same thing, trying to accomplish flight. He seems to have made a lucky escape this time, however in Red Dead Redemption 1 he doesn't seem to be so lucky. In a cinema in Red Dead Redemption 2, Charles Kinnear is mentioned alongside his brother and father, which may suggest that the man found dead at the other scene could have been a relative of Charles Kinnear's. Secret number 8. At this spot, west of Strawberry, we can find a pagan ritual site. The first time you come here, you will notice a sacrifice at the center, a mutilated corpse wearing a mask that appears to be a goat's skull. The pagan mask can of course be collected and worn, and if you revisit the site in the future, it does appear as if it has since been interfered with, as the sacrifice has been removed. Secret number 9 takes us up into the mountains in this region of Amberino, where we may find a couple of corpses frozen together. They can spawn in a plethora of places, but if you go looking for them at any of these spots, there's a good chance you'll find them. What's interesting about this deceased couple is what they're holding on to, a map of some sort. This is the Panoramic Map. It appears to depict a view from the summit of Mount Shan over the surrounding area in various directions, highlighting nearby settlements. By the looks of it, people have dedicated entire forums to deciphering this panoramic map, and it may have something to do with the 2 UFO Easter eggs, but in itself it's a mysterious piece of paper. And this pair of unfortunates died holding it as if it was the most important possession that they had. It's an interesting mystery that yields more questions than answers, however there are some pretty convincing theories out there. And that brings us to the final secret of this video. When exploring the open world as John Marston in the epilogue chapters and beyond, if you revisit the old campsites, there is a chance that John will hear ghostly voices, memories from the past.
If you say the boy ain't yours, what's the difference? You probably only run off with him.
These are clearly John's memories of the past and can be heard at various former campsites from across the main story. However, I don't believe them to be outright ghosts. There are many that can be found and they seem a bit random to trigger and temperamental at best, so happy hunting. And that brings us nicely to the end of today's video. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, that would be super fantastic. I don't typically have much else to say in these outros, but of course, with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point, but until next time, please do take care, and goodbye.